Okie doke. This is take two. I'm gonna just jump right into this video. This is Radiohead The Bends, and I'll give you some backstory after this is all done. Alright, so The Bends. Obviously, I know this song. Is this a real reaction? No, I know this. I got this album before most Americans had listened to any of these songs. Anyway, yeah, I think you figured that out. But let's keep going. Do you just hear those guitar layers? It's just, I love this track so much. When I heard this track was when I was like Radiohead, and I worked at a record store. Nobody was buying this album, and it was on the shelf for like 6 months. Like we had one copy of it, nobody bought it. I finally bought it. I had like my discount or whatever. I bought the album, brought it home, heard this track, and I was like, this is cool. Kept listening. This whole album is really good. So I came back to the store, and I was like, have you guys heard that Radiohead album? Everyone was like, nah. You know, it wasn't a hit. I'll go. We'll keep going back into the song because it's a good song.
You can force it, but it will stay slow. You can crush it as dry as a bone. You can walk it home straight from school. You can kiss it, you can break all the
Everything is broken. This song, I mean, is so relevant to today. Just basically, it's like, I am who I am. The world is who it is. It's broken. It's all broken. And it's just like, all right, you have to kind of know that internally and make the best of what you can with it, you know? But it's a tough truth to, you know, to handle, you know? Anyway, like, huge fan of this band. I'd gotten the first album on tape. A guy that he used to work at a big record store in New England, Newbury Comics, if you've ever heard of it. He worked there, and he had a ton of extra, you know, he had demos from all sorts of bands. So he had a yard sale. It was a friend of a friend. And I went to his house, and I bought Pablo Honey on tape. So I listened to it a few times. Like, this is cool. We loved Creep. It was on the radio. It was a big hit. And then I worked at the record store and bought The Bends, and this album just... And here's the thing. I had high hopes for OK Computer I like OK Computer, don't get me wrong, but it's No the Vans, which is blasphemy in the Radiohead community. And don't even get me started, because that's a whole tangent. So let's get back to the tune here. All right, before we get into that outro, it just kind of dawned on me that knowing what we know about Radiohead now, that they're super creative, that they were like in this box. I think they were marketed as like a pop Brit pop band for the first album. They did the best they could to break out of the box with Creep, which was not your traditional, like the way that Creep the guitar breaks in. It's out of left field, right? And this album was like, we're going to left field. Like they just went there, And I think the United States audience was like, that's a little crazy, don't you think? OK Computer made it okay to be crazy, but this album's like, let's go there. And just thinking of them going into a studio for the second time to create an album and letting them be more creative, and you hear like the stereo effect. And it's either the stereo or the bass. It's kind of, it keeps you. There's just so many layers to the song. It just keeps getting your attention, and I love it. And there's the keys, that cool piano key part, so cool. I know I'm not making much sense. I've had 2 cups of coffee today. I could use some more. What is that sound? Is that distortion? It's so cool. All right, so now it's Edie Brickell. That's the next song in my. If you want to keep going, I'll keep going. This kind of gives you a little broad base of my 90s-ness. 2 different bands that I really love. Edie Brickell. She's from somewhere near Dallas, Texas. I think she went to like an art school in Dallas, which I've been in that neighborhood before. It's actually really cool. Where the art school is. I've never been to her house. I'm not an Edie Brickell stalker, but she reminds me a lot of my big sister. And she had this album when she went to boarding school. It's a long story, but this album's really cool. You know what album's even better? It's hard to say that about this album because this album's really good. Is Edie Brickell. So she does stuff with the New Bohemians. Not the Newbie, it's just New Bohemians. But then she does solo stuff. And the solo album she did, Volcano. I will definitely play something from Volcano on my channel. But let's just do this because, this episode here is kind of explaining what I am. And this song was like the only real big hit that she's had, What I Am. You know it from the late 80s, early 90s. VH1 era.
I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know, if you know what I mean. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so a little bit about the words there. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know if you know what I mean. So I'm from New England, okay, but I lived in Dallas for about like 8, 9 years, and I kind of got to understand there's numerous facets of Dallas. The show Dallas in the '80s, with like the farmers and the ranchers and the big mansions and big money and oil, and there's all that's all true. But what they don't really show you is like everyday people in Dallas just trying to make it. Just showing up on the job and how their sense of humor is. Dallas they have a great sense of humor. Like the worker bees of Dallas are hilarious, and I feel like Edie Brickell is like one of those type. Like I remember going to some of the art, like the street art, like you have like what I'm talking about, like the fairs, where people have all their art, and it was all very American, like Americana, like this pop art, like this album here, like homegrown but a little polish, and I totally appreciated it because it was in Boston. You have all the museums, you have all your big universities, and and even Boston has those different layers. You can go probably see a Monet or something, but Boston has this everyday people and their art, and what's the graffiti on that weird alley, versus what's in the art museum, and I feel like Dallas kind of mixes the two together pretty nicely.
Shallow water before I get too deep. What I am is what I am, you what you are or what?
What I am is what I am. Are you what you are or what? You know what I mean? Like, are you completely fake? Are you somewhat fake? Because I'm trying to just be me and make it. That's it, literally.
What I am is what I am, you what you are. Oh, I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know if you know what I mean. Philosophy is a walk on the slippery rocks. Religion is a light in the fall. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know if you know what I mean. Do you? Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep.
Kind of like check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like, let me know now if you're real or not. Maybe got burnt by somebody in the past, something like that. I saw them live once, and they were so fun. It was just a joyous, jubilant experience. It was in the mountains of Vermont at a Ben and Jerry's festival. So everybody had been eating ice cream all day, and there was lots of bands. Hootie and the Blowfish played, Edie Brickell, a few others. Can't think right now. But anyway, it was a really fun day, and and me and my sister went, and it was they were great live, and I'm so glad that I got to see them.
What I am is what I am, you what you are or what? What I am is what I am, you what you are or what? What I am is what I am, you what you are or what you are. What I am is what I am, you what you are or what? Ha la la la. I say,
good place to stop right there. That just has so much soul to it, energy. And actually, what I was just talking about with Radiohead and the album The Bends, where they had more creative freedom, that's actually Volcano for her. She takes you to this other place. She has lots of albums. My two favorite are this one and Volcano. She's got new material. She's worked with Steve Martin. Like, I just totally respect her. I think she's a great artist, and she's got an amazing voice too. And people don't think of her as like a top echelon singer. I just want to give her some cred, where credit is due, frankly.
Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Don't let me 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 get too deep. What I am is what I am. You what you are. Oh what? What I am is what I am. You what you are. Oh what? What I am is what I am. You what you are. Oh what you are. What I am is what I am. You what you
You got to do the Greg Brady. Clowns never laughed before. Beanstalks never grew. Hey, What I Am. I love that song. That song is actually not one of her best songs, honestly. But people know it. It was a hit. And it's what she's known for, which is cool because, again, she puts out authentic music. So at least one of them hit, right? But yeah, check out Volcano. Like I said, I'll be doing some deep tracks. So the idea of this show is going to be maybe explore some music that I love, explore new things together. But also, I see a lot of these reaction videos of everybody reacting to the same 10 songs. It's like, okay, we've seen those. Have I seen a reaction video to What I Am? No, never. Or Planet Telex, for that matter. and they were big hits. Well, this was a big hit again. The Bends, I think, was popular in England. And I think England is a nice little, like a petri dish of, it's a big enough place where they can test things out and see if the country resonates with it. It's bigger than one of our U.S. states. Back in the 90s, it was local radio is what, like Smashing Pumpkins was out of Chicago. And in each local radio station would find bands and help publicize them. But otherwise, it was lost in the sea of America. And I do still feel like in the indie music scene, that American music, if it gets popular at all in America, it's no longer considered artsy or whatever. We do have artists here, but I feel like in England they can fall in love with a album that we never know about over here. But there's a chance if it gets picked up in England and it makes it big, then it breaks in the U.S. That's like the formula, and I appreciate that. Like the BBC, that the government actually, kind of is an export, is their culture. And, some of us Americans just love it, like the Beatles and on, So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you guys had fun with this. I'm not going to nerd out too much on you all at once. So I guess if you're interested, subscribe, do your thing. And I'm just going to try to make fun content for everybody. All right, have a great day.